Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be checking out a piece of music from Metroid Prime. With Metroid Prime 4 on the very close time of recording, about a week away, I figured I wanted to talk about Phendrana Drifts. I want to talk about this bit of music. I want to just go over it today because the soundtrack for Metroid Prime 4, from what I've heard, sounds awesome. And the reason I want to talk about Phendrana Drifts is that it is arguably considered by many in the gaming space to be one of the greatest pieces of music to ever play, like in a video game. And obviously subjective, but I want to go over it today. I want to talk about it. If you've never seen or you've never played Metroid Prime, there's a scene where you come out from the Magmor Caverns to the new area, which is Phendrana Drifts, and the Magmor Caverns is very intense. It's a hot area, music's very intense, and then you come out and you get open up in this cutscene that does a flyover, this beautiful mountain snowy area, and you're greeted with this. It's easily one of the most beautiful and eerie sounding, and like just the start of it, because the piano bit there, da 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 da, is what makes this piece incredibly iconic, right? The sound font for the GameCube at the time, this is meant to be the remastered version, but the sound font for the GameCube at the time, this is what they were using, like the fake choirs and all that sort of stuff, to make this very atmospheric game. A lot of the music in this game marries atmosphere and catchy like drum beats and stuff, and you'll see that when this track gets kicking in. But that ba da 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 da, and then it just sort of track meanders a bit. I love it. I love that you get that wow, like that kind of like what's going on, and then do 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 comes in. There's another piano in the background just going ba 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 ba. It's almost so innocent. That's what I love about it. Listen to just how innocent. There's so much going on, like choirs and other like little sound effects and stuff. So past the piano, that comes in there. The choir or the voice. All these weird noises in the background. It's obviously being used for a cold area, and like in video games, if you want to represent like a cold area, slightly slower pieces of music, bells usually. Obviously here we've got the piano. It's quite the higher end of the piano anyway. It's trying to give off a vibe of like this is a cold mountainous area, but there's also some intrigue here, because with Metroid Prime it's all about exploration, and each part of the things is like in this bit there's like old ruins and things, or like an old chapel and stuff like that. Like there's really interesting parts of this particular biome, and I like that it kind of gives that vibe of ooh, there's intrigue, there's wonder, you should explore. Because to start with, when you get here, there isn't that many enemies. Like, as you sort of progress further into it, you find more enemies and the like wildlife there. But the very first entry is just very whimsical place. I like how the choir is doing the da 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 with the bomb 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 in the background still. Like, I love how, what is it? That's 32 seconds in. There's a lot going on, like small bits intertwining and entwining with the track, but for the most part you still got that bomb 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 bop going on, and then the choir. I keep saying choir, vocal line. Like little drops, lots of reverb, lots of echo to give that kind of cave feel. You can probably hear underneath that it's still going the entire time. It's setting a very moody atmosphere, right? It doesn't get much better than this in terms of this track doesn't sound dark. This track doesn't sound like threatening. It's just setting a very moody feel, like quite an innocent feel. Whereas like if we were listening to Magmal Caverns, that's a piece of music that uses a piece of music from one of the older Metroid games. It's very intense. This is the complete opposite of that. So we gotta get to a minute into the track before we even get a semblance of rhythm section. What I like about that last bit is that you just get to hear the piano part playing the reoccurring melody, the motif. So you still got that piano in the background then. Do do do. Oh, I love it as a melody. I know I always say this every time now. That easy to follow melody. That da 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 da. Da 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 da, and that's like the main melody part, the main part of it, and it's so beautifully like, I don't know what the exact, I can't remember the term is for it, but because the notes aren't being held, it's not like da da, it's like da 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 da, like they're always being tapped gently as it's going along, and it just sort of sets that mood. I love it. Got that blue, blue, blue. Everything kind of just marries together so well in this track, and then we finally get a semblance of percussion coming in. I think what I like about the percussion to start with, the tss, 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 pa, 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 it obviously pushes the track along. You've had that whimsical wonder as you get to Phendrana Drifts, and now you're sort of exploring. And as you start to explore the area, a lot of the other tracks like Chozo Ruins and things and Talon Overworld, they have music that kind of has a beat that kicks in as you're exploring around, and it gives this atmosphere and this like idea that you're moving and going around and exploring each of the areas and like going through the tunnels, and combat's obviously happening. But here, it just gives the music enough of a change and a push forward to, you know, while you're exploring, to keep it. Because the thing about the music in this game is that because it's you're scanning things and you're like trying to like unlock doors and use keys and stuff, the music really is its own character in itself, and it really plays into what you're doing and where you are. And I love that about this, where you'll see it does sort of pick up and get a bit more intense, but it never like goes full like the combat music and things like that. Oh, did you hear that choir part coming there where you got a bit more of the vocal cord? Oh, now. Multiple voices. Oh, okay. So before we move on to the heart part of this, it's just that synth vocal sound that they used in 2001 or 2002 when the game came out. It's kind of mad how it's sort of lasted. It's such an important part of the music that. Oh, like obviously they're not real. Like you could do that with real singers, but obviously they're not. They're going for a more alien take on it by using the synth voices, and I just love that like little section there where you get more voices come in. It's the layering of many little bits that bring this track together. And then you get this. What a random thing to do just in the middle of it. Like I believe that's meant to be a harp. It could just be a piano, but that like there's a bit more intensity there now. All right, where are we going? More piano parts, and it's back again. Entire time, the ba 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 is going on in this track. That da 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 da. Da, 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 da. And then in the background you see that wang, it never goes away. Like I think what makes this track so incredible is the layering, like the minor layering of different effects and sounds, the reverbs and echoes, the sounds of what sounds like droplets of water, like in the background, the sci-fi-ness of it all, like, again, the whimsical nature of it, as in, like, the intrigue and the exploration. It marries it so well together. It's like a gentle part here. Ooh, and then we have a change. So what do we get there? We get a kick drum, the boom boom. So now we have the track slightly changing up to a bit more intensity. It's given time for the player to explore. You know, the player's moving on, and now we get the boom 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 ba, boom, and then you get that bass, that boom, like kind of synth that comes in here. That adds again another layer to it. Changes the track up. Stuff starts to drop out, but it's only a few things playing now. Notice the singular voice that was playing the "oh" is now being played by a different synth. Very MIDI. And so after all that, like this entire track is building an atmosphere, and after that we now get this da 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 like piano part that plays near the end of this with the boom chords. Oh, it comes in a bit louder. Dong, dong. What an incredible piece of music. And then now it just sort of fades out and just breaks it all back down. Like, this entire track goes on such a good journey of entering the area, adding in the elements to and layering the elements in to get that kind of go from that intrigue part to the exploration part. And what's really cool about it is that later on in the game, when you get to the second part of Phendrana, or what they call Phendrana Depths, you get a far more intense piece of music, still using the da 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 and a lot of those elements, but now you've suddenly got this very alien thing that goes on with it, right? And it becomes a wholly different vibe. And I think that's what's really cool about this particular bit. Your introduction to Phendrana Drifts, you walk out, you get the flyover, you see everything snowy, you've just had the intense part of Magma Caverns, and now you get to explore for a bit, and you get to go wade through the snow, you get to go looking into these ruins. There's a few enemies, but nothing too crazy. And it just suits the vibe down to a T. It's easily one of the best moments, I think, in a video game that's out there. That moment of blasting through the ice and the music's kind of going, like doing like that almost like waiting for you to break through, get out into Phendrana just so it can just kick into this beautiful piece of music. I honestly, there isn't many tracks that, I mean, there's a lot of music out there that fits the bill, right? But there aren't many tracks that I think are as synonymous with like an area piece. Like Metroid does it very well. I think Castlevania is another game that does it very well when you go to an area and you get a piece of music. But Metroid Prime does such a great job of this beautiful piece of music that's married to the initial part of Phendrana, where there isn't as much combat. Like, there's bosses to fight in Phendrana, but they come later on. You know, when you're first going there, I think you're going to get Boost Ball or one of the items. And like I said, there are enemies, but it's not about that. It's about the exploration, and it fits that beautifully. And then the music gets more intense as you get into the later parts of it. But for an experience for getting to Phendrana for like the first time, it is just this incredible moment. And even the first room that you're in, you've got a couple of doors to choose from. You're like, you know, scanning things and exploring. It's just this beautiful vista in the background, and you just have to try and like do a little bit of platforming. And then when you start to explore more, and you get to like the chapel and stuff, and you start building your way up, it just all culminates perfectly. I forgot to mention that the composer for this game, because I think that's really important, is Kenji Yamamoto, who I think has done a lot of music on Metroid. Like, absolutely outshone himself with this piece of music. I genuinely think that there's an argument to be made that this might be one of the greatest pieces of video game music of all time. Like, top 10 material in terms of how well it fits what it is designed to do. Like, personally, it might not be, like, one of my, like, absolute favourites. But for me, like, I can respect this because it's just something about that sound font, something about the way that the track's structured, the use of rhythm coming in later, the way that if you've listened to the entire soundtrack, you know like how Talon sounds and like the other areas sound, and it just they work to be this sci-fi atmospheric pieces with a little bit of catchiness in them. If you ever wanted to like marry catchiness with atmosphere and vibes, Metroid Prime does it better than pretty much any game. So I honestly just think if you've never listened to the soundtrack, go and listen to the Metroid Prime soundtrack. Listen to Prime 2 as well. I can't remember much of the third one. But, like, there's so many great pieces of music in there. But Phendrana Drifts is by far one of the best ever to do it. And it's just such a beautiful piece of music that just is... It's hard not to like it. I find it's hard not to like it and enjoy it. And just, like, put it on and get absorbed in it. So... But yeah, I just wanted to do that now. I know Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. I want to look at the soundtrack for Metroid Prime 4 once I've played it and heard it. But I thought we can't really do that if we don't talk about Phendrana Drifts. Like, it's one of the all-time greats. So anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content, then hit subscribe. And until next video, I will see you then.